Okay, so now if you notice up here, what we're going to do is we're going to do multi-step inequalities. So your quiz today was over one-step inequalities, addition and multiplication. By the way, if you talk amongst yourselves, there's not going to be the same answers as there were multiple quizzes out. Okay, so I did have a couple of different versions of the quizzes out. So anyway, if you look at this first one, it says solve each inequality. Graph your solution on a number line. And so we're going to solve this exactly the same way we would solve an equation, with an equal to sign. So what would you do if that was an equal to sign instead of a less than sign?
Add 13.
You would add 13. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to add 13 to both sides. In which case I'm left with 11x is less than
42. Oh wait, no,
55. Now in order to solve that, what do you think you're going to do now?
Divide by 11.
Divide by 11. So when I divide by 11, I get x to be less than 5. So then now what I need to do is graph that. So if you're doing a number line, remember you always need to have the number 0. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What type of dot on 5?
Open.
Open.
To
Which
the
way am I
left.
going to shade? To the left. And there you go. Questions? Fairly straightforward. Let's go ahead and look at another one. Okay. What do you think you do there first?
Subtract 10.
From 23.
Subtract 10. So then I really have 13 is greater than or equal to negative 2w. What do you do now? Divide by negative 2. Now whenever you
And then
divide
you
by a
switch the
negative,
sign.
there's like a ding 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 that should go off in your head. And you should know whenever you divide by a negative, like a negative 2, what do you do with the inequality?
Flip the sign.
You flip it so it becomes less than or equal to. So here on the left I'm left with negative 6.5, or that would be negative 13 over 2. And then w. So let's see how well you've got this one down. So there's 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's negative 7, negative 6. So a dot at negative 6.5, which way do I shade?
Left. Right.
Is it closed dot?
It's closed dot. And which way do I shade?
Right.
To
Because the variable's on the right side.
To the right. Now, for those of you that are wondering, how do you get that? Okay, the easiest way to do this is to flip this and put the inequality the other direction and put the variable in the other direction. So, if I were to rewrite that with a w on the left side, that's what you get. Okay, I would not try to do it this way. Rewrite it. It makes a lot better sense. Alrighty. Okay, what do we do there?
subtract 11.
Subtract 11. Okay.
32.
So I get negative 4y is less than
32.
32. What do you do now?
Divide
by negative 4. Good.
Flip the sign.
And so then y is greater than negative 8. Okay, why do you flip the sign? Because you divide it by a negative 4. So pretty straightforward today. Let's go ahead and look at the next one. Ooh. 5 minus 6 times a number is more than 4 times the number plus 45. 5 minus 6 times a number is more than 4 times the number plus 45. Okay, I want you to see what you think the solution is going to be here, or the inequality is going to be. So grab a sheet of scratch paper, write down what you think or what inequality would represent that statement. Oh, you could solve it if you got the inequality. There we go. Will you write up your inequality, please? You don't need to do the solution, just the first statement would be great. Okay, so up here is the statement that you should have had. Okay, you can take that with you.
The very first part?
The very first part. So just the inequality, nothing solved.
Okay.
Nice job. All right, so there you go. That's what you should have got. 5 minus 6 times the number is more than 4 times the number plus 45. So to solve this, what's the very first thing you're going to do?
Subtract 4.
Subtract 4n.
Well, I did.
Okay, so what ends up happening is I get 5 minus 10n is greater than 45. 10n.
I'm gonna be minus
2n.
Negative 6n
Oh.
and negative 4n, I believe, makes negative 10.
I believe you're right.
Okay. So then now I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. And I get negative 10n is greater than what? 40. So then now what do?
Subtract by -2.
Divide by negative 10. Now remember, whenever I divide by a negative, that's going to flip this inequality. Flip it the other way. So I should get n is less than negative 4.
I did different.
So let's look at another one. 2 more than half of a number is greater than 27. Write down what you think symbolizes that. I'm going to find somebody to put your inequality on the board. 2 more than half a number is greater than 27. So, 2 more than half of a number is greater than 27. That's the inequality you should have written down. Very first thing you need to do is what?
Subtract 2.
Subtract 2. So I end up getting 1/2 x is greater than
25.
25. How do you solve that now for x?
Multiply by
Multiply by
the
2.
Right, you can divide by 1/2, or the easy way is to multiply by the reciprocal, which is 2 over 1. So on the left, those cancel, and you're left with x is greater than. On the right, 25 times 2 is 50. Over 1 just makes that 50, so x is greater than 50. Alrighty, oops, skipped one, there you go. Now if you look, we're getting more complicated inequalities. So I have 4 times the quantity 3n minus 5, plus 7 is greater than or equal to 8n plus 3. What do you think I'm going to do? Distribute. So just exactly what I did when I had the equal sign. I'm going to distribute, in which case I get 12n minus 20 plus 7 is greater than or equal to 8n plus 3. Next step, what I would do, I would combine the negative 20 and the positive 7. So I end up getting 12n minus 13 is greater than or equal to 8n plus 3. Okay, next step, what do you think we should do?
Subtract 8n.
Subtract 8n. So I end up getting 4n minus 13 is greater than or equal to 3. What should I do now?
Add 13.
Add 13. So I should get 4n is greater than or equal to what?
16.
16. And then what do I do now?
Divide by 4.
Divide by 4. So n is greater than or equal to 4. So this is very similar to equations, just using an inequality sign. with that in mind, I want you to do this one for me, okay? 2 times h plus 6 is greater than negative 3 times 8 minus h. Okay, 2 times h plus 6 is greater than negative 3 times 8 minus h. Step, which is to distribute. So now, I'm going to need your help on the answer. I've got h. Okay? And so I need to figure out what sign am I going to use, less than or greater than?
Less than.
What sign will go here, less than or greater than? What's that?
Less than.
What number will go here?
36.
36. For those of you wondering, okay, if I were going to solve that, what ends up happening is I can subtract 2h. And when I do that, I end up getting 12 is greater than negative 24 plus h. When you add 24 to both sides, you end up getting 36 to be greater than h. So if you flip it, it is a less than sign.
Oh, I did it right.
All right? Okay, ooh, this is a doozy. Let's go. You try it. Be careful on this one with the negatives. So what do you do now? What you do now? Subtract 4x. So on the left, what happens to your 4x's?
They cancel.
They're gone, and that leaves you with 25.
That's unsolvable, isn't it?
Okay, so let's think about that statement. 25 is less than or equal to negative 12. Is that a true inequality?
No.
No, so since that is an untrue or a false inequality, this one is a no solution. Now, if that had been a true inequality, what would the answer have been? Yeah, exactly. Okay, if you didn't catch that, what Kelly said, she said all real numbers. Okay, so if this is a false, it's no solution. If it's a true, it'll be all real numbers. So let's work at this one. What are you going to do? You're going to distribute the 3. So you end up getting 12m plus 18 is less than or equal to 42 plus 12m minus 24. Now, we kind of already know something's going to happen because I see that each side has a 12m and that's it. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to go ahead and combine the 42 and the negative 24. So I'm going to go ahead and combine those, in which case I get 18 plus 12m. What do you notice about that statement?
It's the exact same.
It's the exact same thing on the left and on the right. So what ends up happening is if I get rid of everything, that would be like 0 is equal to 0, right? Okay, so is that a true statement?
Yes.
Yes, because the equal to sign. Now, if that had been something like this, that would have been
No solution.
no solution. So our solution as it is will be all real numbers. Okay, so now they're going to throw those in at you, or those in to the mix. Okay, so your assignment then is on page 301. It's 12 through 35. Okay, it's essential you get this done and you do it correctly. Pretty important.